let your soul unwind.
Hello, Don. In the next episode of the gym setup, it's really a huge pleasure to have you here. What I would like to ask you, if you can say a few things about yourself, about Dollamur, so the people can know who you are and where you came from, and if you can introduce yourselves.
Okay. My name is Don Ochsenreiter. I am President and CEO of Dollamur Sports Surfaces. We are based in Fort Worth, Texas, in the USA. We are the leading manufacturer and distributor of high-quality competitive sports flooring in the US and around the world. We have a large 20,000 square meter facility in Texas. We have one in China that we use to service all parts of the world. Our company's about 30 years old. We supply flooring for all sports, not just wrestling, but all forms of martial arts, gymnastics, cheerleading, all types of fitness centers, all kinds of kids' activities, games like, stop. It's okay.
Okay, it's okay.
Okay.
So, tell me please, before you became CEO of Dollamur, where were your beginning? How everything started? So, how was your high school? After high school there was faculty. If you can just in a few short words tell your story because every one of us has some first job and how it worked.
Yes. So when I was young, I played all types of sports in the U.S. I love sports. I went to college and studied economics and statistics, and then my advisor told me I should go to business school with my background, which I did. During business school, I taught undergraduate students for 2 years, basic statistics courses. Once I graduated from business school, I was hired by McKinsey & Company, which is a large international consulting firm. So for the next 5 years, I learned as much as I could about all businesses in consulting. I was hired by a client, which was a big food distribution company. Then a few years later, I was hired by a private equity investment firm. And while I was there for 4 years, they would send me to their portfolio companies to do different roles like the chief financial officer or the chief operating officer. And that's where I learned my business experience. After 4 years, I was recruited back into consulting then it was called Anderson Consulting. Today it's called Accenture. And while at Accenture, on my last project there, I did a project in the golf industry. And that's how I got into sports, because after the project, the board of directors of the golf company, Burton Golf, recruited me to be their CEO. So that started my journey in the sports industry, which I was very happy to be in because I love sports. I spent 20 years in the golf industry. Then we sold the company and I joined up with an investment firm which owned Dollamur. So they looked at my sports manufacturing background from Burton Golf and said, hey, we have a great sports manufacturing company, Dollamur, and we'd like for you to go run that company. And that was 11 and a half years ago.
Nice. A long story.
The long story, sorry.
Yeah. Tell me, please, there were like several consulting companies in your experience, in your background.
Yeah.
What basically fitness industry, small gyms, or maybe other, we will go to this later. what you learned there. So what these companies give you new that wasn't in the books, it wasn't in the university. Well, what were like the most important things that you get from them?
I think from the experience, what I learned in consulting is you can take any company, big company, small fitness company, and you can break it into 4 components: people, process, technology, and infrastructure. So you have to have the best people. That goes without saying. You have to have best people. You have to have excellent, outstanding processes that you can execute consistently, day in and day out. Technology, you've got to have good technology that supports your people and your processes. And infrastructure, you've got to have the right buildings and the right partners. That's all part of infrastructure. So if you have those 4 components, if you can break any company down, big or small, into those 4 components, and I think from my experience in consulting versus business school is the importance of communication and writing, to be able to write and communicate, well with all your constituencies, whether it's your vendors or your customers, all of your partners.
I understand. That's okay. That's very nice, because I believe a lot of people don't see that they can somehow compare a small company to the big company. That's good. I've got more questions about how we can implement some solutions for the small companies in the fitness industry, but we will find it later. Another step that I would like to ask, there were your first step into the sports company. It was like Barton Golf.
Yes.
It was kind of specific environment. What I actually was able to know is like flat growth environment, really solid economics, not high rates of growth. What were your key strategic decisions there, because you were able to double their sales in this very competitive market? How was it possible? What was like the key factors that you did?
I think in any company, and what we did and what we're doing at Dollamur, because we've also doubled the size of Dollamur in the past 10 years, you have to differentiate your company and your products. You have to make them different. You have to develop a strong competitive advantage. But differentiation is the key. The other key is innovation. You have to constantly be bringing out either new products or new solutions for your customers. You have to listen to what your customers are asking for, and you have to have innovative solutions that are different from your competition. If you do those things well, you'll grow, because you're setting yourself apart from your competition at that point.
Nice. There's like a good story. Tell me, well, how was the relations with these industry giants, like golf balls manufacturers that as well produced, I believe, golf bags, and
Yes.
still you were able to cooperate with them? How was it possible?
Well, all the large golf companies want to have a certain brand image, just like the big fitness companies want to have a certain brand image. And so to do that and to supply them with one of their key components, which was a golf bag, which are always seen on television with the professionals, you have to design the golf bag so it correctly portrays the company's image. So I think for all the large golf companies, we're able to design unique products for them that best showed their image on television and anywhere the professionals went. What I think Burton did very well, and what I think Dollamur does very well, is we start at the top with the leading organizations, whether it's, you know, the large golf companies or whether it's the big competitions in sport. And then we develop our products and brand image based on partnering with the best in the industry. So when we built golf bags for all the big golf companies, we tried to design the golf bags that match their company image. And obviously they were the utmost quality and, you know, built with a lot of innovation and quality. So I think that's how we did it. And we do it better than our competition, because obviously other golf bag companies would love to serve those companies, but we just stayed better than the other companies.
So you basically did some kind of the custom tailor-made product for
Yes.
each of these companies.
Yeah, if you look at golf bags for all the major golf companies, they're all a little different design-wise, and we do a different, unique, custom design for each company, just as we do custom mat designs for each of our customers that buy sports mats.
Yeah,
Each
that's
one of those
exactly,
is custom design.
that's exactly what you did in Dollamur, because there is like the home mat that can be personalized as well. There is a huge competition mats for
Yes.
MMA, BJJ events, and of course like Olympic events that you
Yes.
support with. Yeah, that's really, really impressive, and I believe like custom products in future, they are really important in this particular market, and
Yes.
tailored solutions. Maybe it's not
Yes.
about the product, but as well the services.
Yes.
From after the Burton, you moved to NGO, right? You moved to foundation.
Yeah.
Was it a different experience? If yes, why? What you get it from, and why you decided to move from business to non-profit?
Yeah. Well, I didn't intentionally do that. What happened is at the end of 2008, in the summer of 2008, we sold our golf company to a bigger company. So I was determining what, from a career standpoint, what I wanted to do next. And I was thinking about rejoining an investment company to invest in companies. But the best professional golfer, woman's golfer, decided to retire. She was a friend of mine. Her name was Annika.
She's like Sweden, right?
Yeah, she's from Sweden. Her name is Annika Sorenstam. And she was arguably one of the best golfers ever of all time. Well, during the last few years of her playing career, she started several businesses. And as a friend, after we sold the golf company, she asked me to help her manage, look at these businesses and help her manage. She had a golf academy. She had a partnership with a wine company. She was developing wine. She had a clothing line with a big apparel company. So I agreed to help her
So
do
you
that.
were as well somehow the consultant for her, like using your experience.
Yes. And then she said, I really want to start a foundation in addition to that. So I took on that role, and we started the Annika Foundation. The Annika Foundation had two missions. One was to teach kids the importance of a very healthy lifestyle, because childhood obesity has become a big issue around the world. And second, it was to develop competitive women's golf around the world at the collegiate level, at the junior level, but do it not just in the U.S., but around the world. Those are the two missions of the foundation. It sounded fun, so I did it. I only intended to help her get this all started, but it was a lot of fun, so I ended up working with her for 4 years.
Nice. And you mentioned that then you joined the investment company.
Yes.
And you became the part of Dollamur.
Right.
As well, you mentioned that you double the sales in Dollamur.
Yes.
What was the company what you noticed when you became the part of Dollamur? What was the game changer? How you make the global leader in sports flooring? If you can tell more about it.
When I joined Dollamur, the company was about 20 years old, and it had, even though Dollamur is a very strange brand name, it came about by the founder named it after his parents, Dolly and Murray. So he put the two names together and made Dollamur out of Dollamur. So, but having said that, when I joined Dollamur, I quickly recognized that people knew this brand around the world. It had brand equity. People knew the name in the sports in which, obviously, Dollamur supplied. It knew the name. The other good thing that Dollamur had done was it had partnered with the leading federations around the world to support their competitions and support their events, which helped build their brand equity. What Dollamur was not doing well 11 and a half years ago was it didn't have all the best people in place. It wasn't executing its daily processes well. It wasn't as organized as it needed to be. It wasn't innovating maybe as much as it should. So that's where we started the journey of finding and hiring the best people, putting in great processes, computer systems, everything underneath the company to support the company. We focused on innovation and design, and we focused on expanding our markets. That's when Dollamur really took an interest in the fitness industry, for example. Prior to that, Dollamur had been primarily gymnastics and cheerleading. But then it branched out into all forms of martial arts and fitness, and there's, as you know, there's many different varieties of fitness activities. And we just focused on the segments in which we could provide a good solution for the customers, and grew at some years 10 to 15%. After COVID, over 20% a year. So that's what happened.
Nice. I would like to switch topic a little bit and try to get some corporate lessons for like small businesses. I've got some maybe some asks that you can maybe help and give some advice for small businesses here in the region. So tell me please, for example, if some fitness center, sport club, doesn't matter, from this branch has got some kind of the retention problem.
Yeah.
How would you approach it like a consultant? For example, which questions should owner of the small business ask himself first, or which data he should collect to get this problem solved?
Yeah, good question. Well, if you have any kind of problem, a retention problem in this example, you have to objectively determine what is the root cause of the problem. You have to go all the way back to the root cause of the problem. Is your gym out of date? Is it not clean? Why are your clients, going elsewhere? They want to work out for sure, but why are they choosing to leave your club or your gym versus another and go to another gym? What are you doing as the owner that your competition is beating you at? Or is your gym have some fundamental, is it out of date? The equipment's out of date. It's not clean. What's causing, what is causing? You've got to really talk to your customers and understand from your customers why they're leaving. I know in retention that's difficult to do once they've gone, but you have to objectively determine what the root causes are, for this problem, for the retention problem.
Do you think that approaching the client that left the gym, and if you've got some kind of the app that you are using for registration, will be the good solution if you see that some customers are not coming back, to just take a phone, call them, and look, I'm really sorry that I bother you. I just would like to improve my business.
Right.
And if you can honestly say what doesn't work, why you leave, and
well,
we can be better.
Yes, obviously, if you can reach out to the customers that have left and they'll give you some honest feedback, that's as good as information as you can get, because you'll know exactly why they left. You can do that via survey, through the app, via a very simple survey.
Some questionnaire as well.
Maybe give them an incentive to come back. Not only give you feedback, but maybe give them a free month or something to come back and try again. Let us address the issues, perhaps why you left. Yeah. I think it's equally as important to always be talking to your current members and understanding, getting feedback from them while they're members before they would even consider leaving your club or your gym. I think communication is the key, both with your current members as well as those who've left, if they're willing to give you that feedback.
Yeah, I believe it's very important to have like communication. As you mentioned, the survey might be as well a very good solution, especially if it's anonymous.
Yes.
Because sometimes people are afraid to say loud, especially when owner is a little bit, stubborn. So he don't see the problem. Right. But when there is a good survey, he can get these informations. So that might be easier to address, find the problem and solve it. I agree on that.
If the owner's not objective, then you can always bring somebody in to assess your business and to give the owner some direct feedback why the retention is not where the owner wants it to be. Because you're right, a lot of owners maybe don't want to be completely objective.
Yeah, exactly. I believe so. That there is a lot of, as well, courageous, that you can let someone inside and can address your problems direct in your face. So you can see, okay, there is still a lot of work to do to make my business better. I believe especially in small businesses, when there is like a lot of one-man shows or like small facilities that need to be made, it takes really, I believe it's courage to face the problem, found it and make it better.
Yeah.
Now, as well, next question that I would like to move in, it's like in Dollamur you serve and provide solutions for Olympics and as well for garage gyms.
Yes.
How sport clubs, for example, fighting sport clubs, boxing, MMA, BJJ clubs can, and as well of course fitness centers, can diversify customers and diversify offer for these particular different clients. For example, as I mentioned, kids, older people, or seniors, juniors, New Year resolution, regular members.
Yeah. Well, you have to know your demographics. You have to know the target market you're going after. When we see small businesses fail, it's because they try to be all things to everybody. They try to be a low-cost supplier over here and offering, premium products or services there. They really need to define who your target market is, and then understand for that target market, what do they want? and what you can provide them. Do not try to be everything to everybody. The age groups, obviously you have different programming for the age groups. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the segment of, do you want to be a higher end fitness facility offering state-of-the-art equipment, beautiful facilities? You'll have to charge more, charge a premium for that. Or do you want to attract a much larger crowd and do more basic programming? So you really need to determine who your target market is, who you're going after, because that drives everything. It drives all your programming, your equipment, how you market, everything. So you really have to determine what segment of the demographic is your target market, and then develop everything around that.
So basically small fitness, small clubs should first address like the perfect buyer persona, and they should address it, right? Or
in the U.S., for example, there are the big fitness centers, right, that attract somebody that wants to pay a very low membership fee, but have all the equipment available, have everything available. Big club, low membership fee. That is one type of fitness enthusiast, someone that wants that. But in the U.S., the most successful clubs are what I call boutique, specialized clubs. Boot camps, for example, climbing gyms, very specific types of fitness activities, and then those fitness centers do that activity very, very well. You might have a club that's only kickboxing, or you might have one that's CrossFit, right? Or you might have a boot camp for training, because each of those types of fitness centers attract a specific demographic. Those folks aren't going to go to the big fitness centers, the big fitness chains. They want a very specific type of workout. So to the extent you can offer that and target that market, that's where we see the success in the U.S.
I understand. That was in this question. Actually, you answered my second question that I wanted to ask, because for example, Croatia, we've got right now the situation that there are like two big fitness chains that are doing exactly what you said. So they are growing. Yes. They are offering very nice facilities, which are very modern, offering low membership fees. So that might be solution for gym owners to get specialized, to define their niche, and try to, let's say, find correct and profitable space on the market.
Yeah, not everybody. It's great to have a low membership fee and go to a beautiful gym, but not all people want the crowds. The volume. Waiting a turn for a machine or whatever your activity might be. Not the whole market doesn't necessarily want that. It's a great model for those that like that, no doubt. But there's also specialty gyms that do a very good job where there's a more sense of community. There's more sense of, I don't want to say family, but you feel more part of a group. You're having that group experience. It's like when you see a group of cyclists all cycling together, or you see a group of runners all running together. It's that kind of feeling that you get at the smaller, more boutique fitness centers.
I understand. Tell me, please. Let's switch to the next one. The thing that I wanted to ask, Dollamur produced 6.3 million square feet. It's like in Texas, or it's like worldwide? Or
no, that would probably Texas.
There is Texas, okay. So for example, just to give people information, it's around, I will try to manage it somehow. So it's a lot of flooring. So it's 600 square feet, 600 square meters. And a lot of products are customized. When you customize the products, you've got the waste. how you manage to operate the waste. And what was like different solutions that you tried, manage the waste? Of course, it's like, I know that it's not comparable as well to the fitness clubs, but do you think there is something that still can be applied to small fitness centers? How
to manage the waste?
Yeah.
Well, you have to, as it would apply to a fitness club, fitness clubs, particularly the boutique fitness clubs, are smaller building size. It's like your beautiful offices here. You want to determine how can I best manage every square meter of my office, right? And that will go a long way to helping you eliminate waste. When you look at it, every square meter of my facility is important. Am I utilizing it to the very best of our ability? So when you have a finite amount of space in which to work, obviously you want to set your processes up, set everything up so that you're optimizing, the space available. With a custom manufacturing as we do, it's impossible to eliminate all the waste. So what we try to do is we try to group our custom orders together so that it optimizes the manufacturing process, it optimizes the customization process. So if we're building a lot of black mats or black vinyl mats, we will make all those mats at the same time, then move those to the customization area, and we match the customization up with the artist or the digital printer that's best for that mat. And that minimizes the time through the manufacturing operation. When you come to the U.S. to visit us, I'll show you.
Yeah, I would love to. And I'm really going to. So basically, we can take something different from this question.
Yeah.
You said about grouping the orders and things like that.
Yeah.
So what actually sport clubs can get to actually group some particular classes around.
Yeah.
So the coaches, owners can easily manage the same group of people,
right,
in one particular place, on one particular side of the gym, just to avoid mess and some kind of decals.
Yeah, I mean, the more organized you are, the better your facility is going to run. So be as organized as you can when you plan your programming, plan your day, plan your week. Be smart about it and be organized about it. There's nothing worse than going to any kind of business that's disorganized. You can tell right off when they're disorganized.
I can rely on that. I believe we did a lot of mistakes in the past. We still, of course, learning and try to improve. Sometimes things like this happen, and it's actually most of the time because some were only process, something was not organized well. I can totally understand, and I agree with that. Okay. Dollamur's mats has Olympic. They were at the Olympic Games. They meet Olympic standards. What do you think can be how sport clubs can put their own standards? Which segments you think should be very important for some kind of the quality control in this small facilities?
I think that sports clubs need to first define what their quality standard is. If you don't define it, you can't measure it. So whatever you're defining as your quality standard, let's say in a club it might be the level of cleanliness. It has to be at a certain level or you're not meeting your standard. And then of course you have to measure to make sure. I travel a lot around the world, so the first thing I notice at a hotel when I go in the room is how clean is it, right? So maybe when your customers are coming to your gym, the first thing they're going to notice is it organized and is it clean? So you have to, as the owner, you have to establish a standard. So if the cleaning crew is coming in daily or weekly or every hour, whatever your standard is, you need to stick to it. You need to document your standards, and you need to ask your customers if they're meeting that standard.
I understand. That's okay. That's as well. Asking for the feedback can be good because in our, let's say, our eyes, we can think that is, and sometimes customers can notice something that we are not seeing.
Exactly.
That's good. That's good. The good answer. Tell me, please, how relations with outside companies, with vendors, can be applied from huge company like Dollamur to the small businesses. If there is something beyond the price, and my actual real question is, why club owners should choose high quality of products instead of buying cheap, and what are benefits of buying high quality in long term?
Yeah, well, the first part of your question is your relationship with your vendor. You have to establish a relationship. You have to go beyond just a transaction. I buy this from you, I pay you. It's got to be much more than that. It has to be a partnership relationship with the vendor, with your vendor partner. The second part of your question is, how do we establish, why would you buy quality versus something that's inexpensive or cheap? You have to look at the life cycle of the product. How long do you want this product to last? If it's a very short time, then it's probably okay to buy an inexpensive product. But if you want a product, for example, fitness equipment to last 5-10 years, much longer time horizon, then you have to look at the quality. You have to look at the warranty and the vendor to make sure they stand behind their equipment in case there's an issue with it or it doesn't operate properly. So really, you have to look at the entire life cycle of what you're investing in to make sure you get the quality level that will be reflected for that entire life cycle. So again, if you want something for just a short time, inexpensive is probably okay. But most fitness equipment, the owners would expect to last 5 to 10 years. You need to invest in that and invest in the quality, because your clientele is going to know whether you invested in quality or not. They're going to know immediately whether it's quality equipment or not, and that's a reflection of your gym and of the brand you're trying to establish.
I understand. And okay, that's actually a good point about as well. If something that has short life cycle, it can be buy or cheap. Why not to do it?
Yeah,
I understand. Tell me, please, another question that I would like to. Meantime, I noticed that basically your sales, like 600 square meters, is actually around 6 to 7 Olympic stadiums that is fulfilled with the mats, and we are speaking about the whole area, not only the stadium, but area surrounded it as well. Okay, but going back to the question, what you think partnerships local gyms should build? So what might be beneficial? Is it this partnership with the suppliers of your somehow components for, I don't know, some goods, t-shirts, equipment, or I don't know, apps, things like that? So what partnerships should be built by local small businesses? Well,
we just mentioned supplier partnerships. That's super important, that you have great supplier partnerships and whatever you're supplying your business, because if you need something in a hurry or you have an emergency, if you have a partnership with a supplier, that supplier is going to try to help you, with your emergency as best they can. I think with regard to local partnerships, you should look at where your customers are coming from. Look at their background. For example, it's maybe a bad example here in Croatia. If there's a local community church, or if there's in the area, if there is a organization that is supplying you a lot of your, if there's a organization that supplies you a lot of your customers, then you might look for ways to partner with them to bring in to help market your company and bring in more customers. Everybody's on their phone all the time, so obviously having a great app for your business makes a lot of sense. And that's just as technology is just gonna get stronger and stronger, so to develop apps to help your customers with scheduling, programming, membership, payments, whatever, makes a lot of sense. You mentioned T-shirts. The more that your clientele can feel like they're part of your gym, they're part of your club, they're part of your membership, whether that's events or T-shirts, or maybe it's seminars. Maybe you have a seminar with someone locally speaking about a particular topic, or someone like me comes in from the U.S. and they want to talk about sports mats, whatever it is, just anything that increases the membership's experience, because that's what everybody wants, is a great experience in whatever they do. So when they come to your fitness club, they want to have a great experience for the hour or hour and a half, however long they're there.
Good, I understand it. It's that's somehow connecting as well to customer life cycle management.
Yes.
How which corporate retention strategies can work in smaller clubs?
Well, I think number one, the most important thing is communication. You have to constantly be communicating with your customers so they feel part of your organization, and they value giving you input to your organization. And so we talked about an app is a perfect way to keep in constant contact with customers. Surveys, touching base with your customers. For example, in sports mats, we touch base with our, a sports mat's going to last 5 to 10 years, but we touch base with our customers several times a year to ask them, do you have enough mops? Do you have enough cleaner to clean your mats? Are you thinking about purchasing a new mat in the near future? Just touching base, not necessarily selling them something, but just touching base to let them know that you're thinking about them. I think that's probably the best way to.
So asking them, for example, how you doing, how you rely, what do you think about our trainings, workouts?
Yeah.
What do you think about anything?
How can we be better? How can we
be better?
How can we improve you're trying to give the customer the best experience while they're at your club, right? You want to give them the best experience, so asking them about that occasionally, not all the time, but occasionally asking them to give you that kind of feedback is super important. So I think communication is the key.
I can agree on that. It's like communication in every aspect should be on the top.
Yeah, I mean, an analogy would be marriage. the better you communicate in a marriage, the better the marriage is, right? So you're not marrying your customers, but to use that analogy, communication is so important for your customer base.
And sometimes that's true, because you can say same thing different ways, and as well, customers can understand your message different ways.
Yes.
You don't follow, for example, with few questions after that or explanation what you are thinking about.
Yes, if you don't communicate regularly with your customers, they'll make their own assumptions. That's true with anything, right? If I don't talk to you often, you're going to make assumptions on what I'm thinking about, and I might make assumptions about your thing. But when we talk, then we confirm what we're thinking.
Yeah.
Rather than assuming we know what the other person's thinking.
Yeah. that's actually real true. Yeah, about it. Another question that I want to move, and somehow, of course, is related on this what we said right now. How you motivate your team in big structure, and what as well we can transfer to as well smaller clubs.
Well, with a team, that's the key word, is team. You've got to make everybody in your organization feel as though they're part of the team. That is one of the key aspects of our culture building at Dollamur, is that everyone feels a part of the team. In terms of, you want them to feel as if they are also an owner in the business, even though they might not be. The next best thing to that is to make them feel as a part of the team. You can share in the profitability in some small way. You can buy them lunch every Friday. You can do things that make them feel not only as part of the team, but as part of your family, where they share the same core values and culture that you have. And again, on the compensation, having them have an opportunity to make a bonus if the business is doing well and it's profitable. It doesn't have to be a big bonus, just showing them that you care about them and that you want them to feel as much a part of your team as you can.
That's really, I believe, true, because if you can give them small bonus, it not to be good, but they became noticed, that the value that they put inside the company.
That's right.
You just say, okay, I saw it, thank you very much for it. It can be really, really appreciated by them. And I believe as well, somehow this advice we can apply on the customers. So we can say to the customers, for example, for the regular customer, it's basically a free shake for you, or a free t-shirt for you. Thank you for staying with us for so long.
Right.
Or returning customer. Hi, how are you? It's like invitational shake, for example, or some kind of the cookie. Where have you been so long? Why you haven't been here for a while? We were missing you. So it can be. So this culture building is really, really, I believe, important, and you might be impressed, like the people might be impressed how good it will work.
Yes. They say in the restaurant business, if you have a good experience at a restaurant, good service, good food, you'll tell 2 or 3 people about the restaurant. Hey, I went to this restaurant and I had it's a great restaurant, you should try it, blah, blah, blah. But if you have a bad experience at a restaurant, you might tell 10 people you had a bad experience.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's much worse. It's so important that your customers have a good experience, because obviously they will relay that experience to others. And the same can be said about employees of your business. If they feel it's a part of the team, your employees will also recruit other good employees perhaps for you, because the best folks you can recruit are actually referrals from others or people that you already know versus, running an ad and just meeting strangers and trying to determine if they would be a good partner. No, I went off subject here a bit, but I think the more you can endear, the more you can make your employees feel like a real part of your organization, the better. You also bring up a good point on a reward system. Some kind of reward system might be a bonus. It might, for your customers even, might be a bonus. It might be the free shakes. Just anything that shows appreciation for them makes them feel good. Even a pat on the back occasionally helps.
I believe like showing appreciation doesn't matter in the end if it's customer, if it's employee, if it's partner, if it's whatever. In the relations between people, it's really, really important.
It is. We have in the U.S. we have 150 employees at Dollamur, and about 25 manager jobs. And every week we handwrite thank you notes to anyone having an anniversary. All the managers do this. It's part of our culture to tell them how much we appreciate them and how much they have contributed to Dollamur's success. And they really appreciate that. And we mail it in the post, so they get it at home. We don't just hand it to them. So they go home, they open up a nice letter from handwritten, not typed, handwritten, and it goes a long way. It goes a long way. So any little things you can do to tell them you appreciate them being part of your team works.
That's actually very, very nice about handwritten message. I heard it once from one person here in Croatia who told me he and his wife get married. They had a band that was playing on the wedding. And after the wedding, each year for, I believe, 25 years, they received a postcard with the handwritten happy anniversary. And it was like, my mind exploded.
Yeah.
Like, damn, it's nice how you can easily show appreciation for years.
Yeah.
And I believe on this way, they said about this band a lot of people. And it's so nice, it's so simple.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's so extremely nice.
Yeah, it is. I have a similar story. I was on an airplane, I don't know, a few years ago, and I was writing to some of our employees when it was their anniversary. And this lady tapped me on the shoulder and she said, "Are you writing, like, handwriting notes to people? I noticed you had a few here." And she goes, and I said, "Yeah, I told her we do this for all of our employee anniversaries." And goes, "Oh my gosh, no one does that anymore. No one does. In today's world, so helter-skelter, we're going so fast all the time. No one does that anymore." So I took that as a compliment.
Yeah, it's actually fantastic.
Yeah.
It's really, really, really fantastic.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask about the culture in Dollamur, but we are already here. Tell me, please. Maybe we will go to the next one. Is there something that we can? How we can measure success? Is there only revenue or profit? Can we do it somewhere beyond that?
I think. Well, obviously, in the fitness industry, your revenue growth will always be important, right? I mean, everybody wants to grow. They say, if you don't grow, you will die. So, growth is important. So that is one KPI or key performance measure that you'd like to have. I think for fitness, though, retention is big, right? Retention. To understand retention, which we talked about earlier, you really need to communicate with your customers. You need to communicate with them to find out how you're doing, what you can do better, all of that to bolster, your retention. Your profitability is important for your business, and sharing any of that profitability back in a small way with your employees is, I think, would be good if you're able to do that. But I'm back to the same theme: communication. Get feedback from your customers on how you're doing. I can't tell you, when we get good customer feedback, that helps us in so many ways, because we may be going down this path, right, and we hear, wait a minute, the customer says you're doing this, and that helps us change direction when needed. So I would say good customer feedback is one of the most positive, or consistent customer feedback is one of the most important measures beyond the financial measures that you can get in a business.
I understand. And if we are speaking about the revenue, and there is something about it, let's say if the company, small business, have nice revenue, money, cash flow is okay, how they should work on their capital. So where to reinvest, what to hold, where to buy the new equipment, if there is some indicators that we can use, or percentages, how much of our profit you think should be reinvested, how much should be held for some as a capital, and how much, for example, for security, money pillow back, something like that, just in case.
Yeah, that's a great question, because everybody's business is different. In general, you want to have if you have a great relationship with your bank, you want to establish, if you can, a line of credit, so that if you have seasonality in your memberships or your business, you can use that line of credit to help you with your cash flow. In terms of how much to reinvest, it's so hard to give a general answer there.
I understand.
But you need a better way to consider that is the return on your investment, right? I mean, you have to say, hey, if I invest X amount of dollars in this piece of equipment that I really want to have, is it going to increase my membership? Is it going to increase retention? How does that translate financially for my business? In other words, if I spend this money on this equipment, what is it going to do? Or do I just need to spend this money because my competition has this equipment and I don't have it? So try to measure as best you can the return on your investment. What benefits will you receive for making an investment?
That's actually a very good point, because what I notice, a lot of people, when there is some new stuff on the fitness market, they immediately call, I want that. And they don't put any questions to ask them, like you said, what will give it to me? What will give it to my gym? In the very first episode, we've got the guy that exactly said that I can buy some kind of the different, maybe more fancy piece of equipment, but it won't transfer how much revenue and how I can increase the quality of workouts for my people in the gym. So that's actually very, very attractive, very important point.
Yeah. So it's not so much, well, of course it's important how much equipment costs. That's very important. But the real question is what your gentleman said. The real question is, how will it benefit my customers, my business? How will it translate, if it will, financially? Will it help any of my KPIs? Look at it very objectively that way before making any investment.
I understand. understand. Tell me please, we are like in very, very attractive part of the, I don't know, life when everywhere we can see AI solutions and things like that. How would it affect it? I believe that AI affected automation, manufacturing process a lot, and as well, it affected how you can use AI in your customer relationships. But what do you think these tech trends that are really much more present in US, we can transfer and we can use as well in the businesses, local businesses?
Well, the technology change today is so rapid, as you know, that everything is constantly changing. We see in the U.S., we see so many basic tasks that businesses do, so many routine basic tasks that companies do are being replaced with AI now. And it's actually making entry-level jobs, people that are just coming out of college. They normally get hired, they have little experience, so they are usually assigned to do those routine entry-level tasks to learn the business, right? But we're seeing the demand for that dropping in the US because AI has come in and just does those tasks automatically. We see it in our business also, where we have AI doing our production planning and our scheduling. The AI can figure out what order to build our mats much more efficiently than us, trying to figure it out ourselves. So my point is, AI is really making an impact. But just the technology change alone in the fitness world, well, machines have so many, like this whoop. There's so much good technology. It's very difficult to predict what it's going to look like in 3 years and 5 years. But we know technology is going to be a very, very big part of all those changes to come. All for the better, but it's just kind of crazy how much more the technology is changing really everything in the world.
Do you think right now in this part and as well in future, when technology will grow and be more of our lives, this relationship status and communication with real person will be more valued than it's right now?
Yeah, that will never go away. There's nothing more frustrating than calling a big company and you're talking to a bot. You're not talking to a real person. It's very frustrating because you've got to go through many steps to get to where you're trying to go. So I think the human interaction, no one can replace that. You remember during COVID, when we were all at home and we all had to communicate either by phone or by Zoom or team meetings, video meetings, that they would say, oh, the airline industry, it's going away. People won't have to meet anymore because, look, you can do it all over the videos and Zoom calls. But that's not the case. After COVID, airline industry came back in a hurry because people love to connect with other people. People have to connect. They love that personal interaction to do business, and AI will never be able to replace that. So it is important that even as AI can support, some functional areas in the company, it can never replace, the human relationship and the human interaction needed to do good business together. So that will always remain super important.
That's somehow as well covering the topic. The next question, almost the last one, how you think fitness industry will look in 2030, 2035?
I would like to ask you that question, because you know the fitness industry so well. It's going to, I think the digital, the technology component of that will continue to evolve. When I go to FIBO or the other fitness shows now, and you walk around 1 year after the previous show and you see how much more technology is supporting the complexity of these machines, that's certain to continue in just about every aspect of fitness equipment. The communication, what smartphones are able to do, who knows what that'll look like in 5 years, particularly with AI and what some of the big technology companies are doing now. So people will still need to work out. People still need to burn calories. People still want to burn more calories than they take in. Technology is not going to change that. But as for the sophistication of the technology, of the equipment, and everything that we use to do the workouts, I think that's going to continue to evolve and evolve and evolve, making it almost impossible to predict in 2030 exactly how that's going to look. But it will be better, and it'll be different. I mean, look at automobiles today. They're largely driven by technology. Automobiles.
I noticed that as well. I noticed that from 1st January I believe in Czech Republic and in Germany, I believe it's already allowed. But in Czech Republic from 1st of January, they will allow to self-driven cars.
Yeah.
So
yes.
I believe there is we will blink and we will be able to sit down in Croatia and wake up in Poland, and we can sleep all the way through.
Yeah. It's amazing. We have those self-driving cars in a few big cities in the U.S. now, and it's crazy.
It's it was only in sci-fi movies. Very last question that I would like you ask, because there is tremendous amount of experience that you have. What will be the crucial, the only one advice that you can give to any fitness entrepreneur? Who want to think bigger? What it would be?
Well, it's very simple. If you want to think bigger, you have to intentionally, consciously, objectively carve out part of your day, part of your week to think bigger. In other words, you have to carve out some portion of your time, it's quiet time, to think about your strategy for your business, where your business is going. Where do you see your business in 5 years? What we see happen all the time in our business is no different, and in small businesses, is that people get caught up with the day-to-day activities, the day-to-day craziness and busyness, and they never take the amount of time they should to think about, am I doing the right things to get me to where I want to be in 3 years or in 5 years? What do I need to be thinking about other than all the day-to-day activities? We call it, in the U.S., we call it the whirlwind. You get caught up in this whirlwind, and if that takes 100% of your business day, then you've set aside exactly zero time to think about, what is my business going to look like a year from now? if I want to get to the next level, if I want to think bigger, what do I need to be putting in place? If you allow the whirlwind to take up that time, you'll never get there because you're spending all your time just running the day-to-day of your business. So I highly recommend carving out, setting aside time, maybe not every day, but certainly during the week, to think about big project over here that's going to get my business to the next level. Am I working on that? You know, a good example, I'm here in Croatia thinking, how can we get Dollamur Europe successful 5 years? What is Dollamur Europe going to look like in 5 years? And what steps do we need to put in place to get us there, right? Rather than sitting in my office in Texas, just managing the business day to day. So we all have to do that. We can't avoid that. But try to consciously carve out some time to give yourself, your own self, time to think bigger and what you want your business to look like a year, 2 years, 3 years from now.
I understand. There is actually awesome advice, because there is no like 1, 2, 3 steps to success.
Right.
You just need to have some kind of the idea.
Roadmap.
And try to, or roadmap, or like the target, and try to make everyday single steps that somehow will lead you to that target.
Yes.
Because overnight it's almost impossible if it's not lucky sometimes.
Right. That's true.
Don, thank you for everything. Thank you for your time. If you can just in the end say people, if they can find you somewhere on LinkedIn or somewhere, and where can find Dollamur on the social media or website, so they can dig deeper as well about the company.
Yeah. Well, our website is really easy. It's dollamur.com, DOLLAMUR, dollamur.com. And from there, and there are various websites around the world that use the Dollamur name, so you should be able to find our brand really in most every country. You certainly can go to my LinkedIn, which is just my name, Don, and then my last name. And Dollamur has many social media outlets. They all have Dollamur Fitness or Dollamur MMA or Dollamur Wrestling. Dollamur is within the brand. So if you just search Instagram or TikTok, you can find it. Usually just use the reference Dollamur and you'll be able to find us.
Great. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Thank you for hosting me in Croatia. Thank you.
Welcome to the gym setup, where shadows meet the ground. Welcome to the gym setup, leave your doubts behind. To the gym setup, let your soul unwind.